Ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony is going to start in 5 minutes. Please be ready. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. Good morning, and we are delighted to welcome you to the SIBE 2021 International Webinar, Imagining a Sustainable and Resilient ASEAN City 2040 from an Engineering Perspective. Today's webinar is a series of SIBE 2022, which today we will also launch a student competition. The winner of the student competition will be announced at the SIBE conference on March 2022. So, are you curious? Stay tuned for today's series of events. But before starting this webinar, let me introduce myself. I am Olivia from Environmental Engineering. It is such a wonderful and precious opportunity for me online to be your Master of Ceremony online from SIBE Bandung Institute of Technology on Saturday, 13th of July 2021. Firstly, we would like to express our gratitude to the Honorable Professor Reni Wirahadikusuma, PhD, Director of ITB, the Honorable Insinyur Edwan Cardena, PhD, the Dean of FCEE, the Honorable Insinyur Indah Rahmatiah, MSc, PhD, the Chairman of SIBE 2022, the Honorable Lecturers of Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering, the Honorable Speakers Bu Weni Maulina, Mr. Venkatachalam Anbumozi, PhD, Professor Koji Ichi, and Mr. Salendraram. Also, the honorable participants. Today, our webinar will be divided into two sessions. Topics for the first session are Sustainability Challenges for ASEAN City, Jakarta MRT Context, and Towards a Resilient ASEAN. After the first session, we will have student competition launching, and afterwards, there will be lunch break. Then the second session will begin. The topics are seismic risk assessment of coastal facilities and multidisciplinary approach for sustainable transportation infrastructure. Before starting the first session, we will listen to the welcoming speech from Dean of FCEE and also Rector of ITB. Please welcome Insinyur Edwan Cardena, PhD.
Hello, good morning. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Edwan Cardena, the Dean of the Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Let me give you a very short introductory speech before we listen to the pre-recorded, the opening remark by Professor Reni Wirahadikusuma, Director of ITB. I need to tell you that this event, the webinar event, is the one of the conjunction events with the main event which will be held next year, which called the Seminar of Infrastructures and Built Environments. The SIBE seminars is carried out every 4 years by our faculty. So, ladies and gentlemen, the disruptive events could also be happen to our cities like Jakarta, Surabaya, Bandung, and to be able to our city to be rapidly recover from such disruptive event, which could be happens caused by the natural disasters like earthquake, flooding, or even pandemic like COVID-19, and could also be caused by the man-made activities. So today webinar, I believe all four speakers will be talking about this topic, and I believe it's going to be enlightened for our view how to make our city could be sustained and resilient in the 2024. So in this regard, let me thanks to our guests today, Ibu Weni Maulina as a head of engineers division at MRT Jakarta, and also Honorable Dr. Fen Katachalam Anbumozi, PhD, as a director of research, strategy and innovation, Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia. And of course, Professor Koji Ichi from Kansai University, and Mr. Shalandra Rams as Technical Director, Transportation ICOM, and Chair from Transport Australia Society. We are very, very grateful to have all of the distinguished speakers. And of course, thank you very much for your valuable time so that you can make it viable for this morning webinar. So without further ado, I would like again to thank you for all participants. I was reported by the committee that there are more than 220 now. The participant has been joined the seminars. Wishing you enjoy the webinars, and we will hear the opening remark from our rector, Professor Reni Widadikusuma. Thank you. Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is my honor on behalf of Institut Teknologi Bandung to welcome you all to the international webinar entitled Imagining a Sustainable and Resilient ASEAN City in 2040 from the Engineering Perspective. This event is organized by the Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering. So thank you very much, Bapak Dr. Edwan Cardena, the Dean of the Faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and his wonderful team in organizing this event, and for inviting me to share in meeting all of you. And of course, thank you for all of you participants for being here and make it through all of your busy schedule. Today, I would like to especially greet our speakers, Ibu Weni Maulina. She's the head of engineering division at MRT Jakarta. Welcome, Bu. Makasih. Dr. Fen Katachalam Ambumozi, PhD, the Director of Research Strategy and Innovation Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, or AREA. Professor Koji Ichi from Kansai University. Salendra Ram as the Technical Director, Transportation of AECOM, and Chair from Transport Australia Society. So thank you very much. Welcome all of you. We appreciate very much your time giving and valuable knowledge to all of us. Future problems due to urbanization, climate change, and overall population increase will become more and more profound. It is no longer enough for us engineers, especially within the civil, environmental, and ocean engineering fields, to solve the already existing problems. But we engineers must start to have a vision on the types of future we want to build through our expertise. Not only that, engineers will also need to have the ability to look at the problem more comprehensively. In order to envision our better future, many engineering fields must work together to redesign it. So in order to meet these multifaceted challenges, not only proper planning, design, implementation, and verification exercises, but also clear policy and strategy direction of sustainable and resilient infrastructure are required. It is a must. Via an integrated, multidisciplinary, and holistic approach. The global momentum for sustainable development and resilience of the built environment must now lead to practical application of the engineering and science of sustainability. So it is an optimization which allows comprehensive planning with maximum attention on sustainability and resiliency aspects. Therefore, in order to nurture both this ability to envision and design our future, while also nurturing the ability of multidisciplinary thinking, as part of the road to the fourth International Seminar on Sustainable Infrastructure and Built Environment, which will be held pretty soon in 2022, we are holding this seminar with the hope that future engineers will be able to work together as the world progresses, and for engineers today to be able to provide their insight about challenges we are facing today. Especially for the students, this webinar will also provide knowledge from our esteemed experts in managing sustainable and resilient infrastructures. So along with this event, there is also a student competition to start dreaming, planning, designing the future, your future in ASEAN cities. So hopefully, please be the engineers that are locally relevant, globally respected as well, to solve infrastructure problems today and tomorrow. So please enjoy this event, and I hope all of you will build stronger networks of future engineers. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for Pak Edwan and also Bu Reni for the opening speech. Now, for all participants, we wish you all to open the camera because we are going to take a photo together since it is a rare and special event that we are gathering together in this Zoom. So please, everyone, you could open the camera. Our operator will navigate us to take picture together. Don't forget to smile and say cheese. Okay, keep smiling. All right. So the photo session is done. Now I shall remind you all the participants to fill the attendance list for the first session in this link. I will share the link in chat room. There you already see, right? So please don't forget to fill that attendance list. And during the sessions, please mute the microphone. If you have any questions, you can write in the chat room by mentioning to whom you are asking the questions, and also the questions that you would like to ask. You can also use the raise hand feature during the discussion and unmute your microphone after the moderator lets you. Now we are moving into the next agenda, which is the first session that will be moderated by Dr. Anindria Nastiti. So Bu Asti was the speaker for Slow Disaster Domestic Water Pollution in Citarum Watershed 2021, and also she is the speaker in many other events. Also, now she is assistant professor or lecturer in environmental management and technology research group FCE ITB. Now, please welcome Bu Asti. Good morning, Bu Asti.
Good morning, Alivia. Thank you for having me. Okay, thank you, everyone. So, good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May God bless us all. So, I'm really honored to be in this event. My name is Anindria Nastiti, but you can call me Asti for short because I know it's a little bit difficult to pronounce. So, today I'm going to be moderating this session. This is the first session of the webinar, and then the presenters are Ibu we have two presenters here. So before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes. The first one, like Olivia said, that you have to mute your microphone. And then if you have questions, please put that on the chat box in the conference platform for this session for presenter to answer after this session later on. Each presenter today will have a total of 15 minutes for their presentation. And if one of the presenter completes their presentation before their 45 minutes is up, there may be time for a question for attendees. However, we will hold most questions until the end of the session, and I will then read questions out loud for the presenters to answer as time permits. But once again, we will hold most questions until the end of the session. So I would like to pull up my screen. Is anyone helping me with the screen, or I'm going to pull up my own screen? Okay, I'm just going to pull up my own screen then. Okay, so please bear with me. I want you to see that here that we have two presenters on the first session. The first one, Ibu or Miss Weni Maulina, with the talk Sustainability Challenges for ASEAN City, Jakarta MRT Context. And then we have also Dr. Fentaka Chalam Anbumozi with his talk Towards a Resilient ASEAN. First, I'm going to introduce each of the presenter. The first one is Ms. Weni Molina as the Head of Engineering Division of MRT Jakarta. She holds a civil engineering bachelor degree from Institut Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. And presently, she is working in PT MRT Jakarta in an engineering division head. And she's responsible in managing and coordinating engineering design of civil works, railway systems, and transport planning for Jakarta Urban Railway Line and integrated transit facilities. So she's already been involved with several projects such as engineering services for MRT Phase 2, feasibility study for MRT Phase 2B, and so on. So I would like to welcome Ibu Weni Maulina because we're honored to have Ibu Weni today as a speaker, as a distinguished speaker. Ibu Weni, please, the floor is yours and you have 45 minutes for your talk. We are honored to have you.
Hello, good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Anindya, for introducing me. So as mentioned before, I'm currently the head of engineering division of MRT Jakarta. I was involved since the 2010, since the first MRT of phase 1, and since the beginning of the basic engineering design of the MRT. So today I would like to present our MRT Jakarta's involvement and our support for the sustainability of the Asian cities, especially for Jakarta. Next slide. So my outline today is that why should the MRT Jakarta as a public mass transportation, and then why MRT Jakarta can support the creating a sustainable city for the economical impact, environmental impact, and also social impact, and then how our engineering approach for Jakarta sustainability. So I'm underlining here for Jakarta itself, yeah, and then what is next step in our future. Next. So first, why is MRT Jakarta? So 80% of the vehicles in Jakarta, especially, is contributing to the air pollutions. And then 43% of the emission sourced from the transportation sector. vehicles, and estimated to be 25,000 tons per year. And before, Jakarta is the 31st rank of the most congested traffic in the world. And around 100 trillion rupiah loss because of this traffic congestion. So in the year 2008, MRT Jakarta was established, and we have three mandates. First is to build the infrastructure of the MRT system itself, including stations, depots, railway systems, and trains, and also operation and maintenance. So MRT Jakarta is the one who operates and maintain for all those systems. And the last is also we have the mandate for providing the business and transit-oriented development all along the line of the MRT trains, MRT lines. So MRT Jakarta, as a public transportation provider, plays a role in Jakarta's journey to the sustainability. Next. So currently, we are building an MRT Jakarta for phase 1 and phase 2 line. You may have understand that for phase 1 area, from Lebak Bulus to Bundaran HI, from the southern part of Jakarta to the central part of Jakarta, we have built this and operate this, including 13 stations, which is 7 stations are elevated and 6 stations are underground. And also currently we are constructing the MRT line for phase 2A. Phase 2A consists of 6 underground stations, about 5.8 or 6 kilometer lines. And then next in the future, we will also construct the phase 2B area, this one which goes along to along the north, to the depot area later on in Ancol Barat. And this consists of another 6 kilometers. Currently it's under the feasibility study, and we are going to start the basic engineering design soon. So all of these constructions are funded by JICA ODA loan. Next slide. So as I introduced before, the MRT Jakarta journeys actually has been started a long time ago, since 1989, which we have the first study of Jakarta mass transit system. And in the year 2000, we conduct the feasibility study of MRT Jakarta by JICA. This one was also funded by JICA and conducted together with the Ministry of Transport and provincial government of DKI Jakarta. And in the year 2008, the establishment of PT MRT Jakarta itself. And since 2010, we have started and finalizing the basic engineering design, this one together with the Ministry of Transport, Directorate General of Railways. And in the year 2013, we start the groundbreaking, the first groundbreaking of MRT Jakarta. And 2017, all of the infrastructure has been connected from south to the north, to the central of Jakarta, to Bundaran HI. And lastly, 2019, we start the operation of MRT Jakarta. And also at the same time, we also start the phase 2 construction. So this is the riderships of the MRT Jakarta, the passengers, since the opening, April 2019 until December 2019. We have quite a number of the riderships, and including in average, it's about 95,000 passengers. Next. So in total, for MRT Jakarta Phase 1 after the operation, the total number of passengers is about 30 million, 175,000 since the first opening until the 2020, with the average of 86,000 passengers per day. This is just before the pandemic situation. And we have a traveling time of 99.8%. Punctuation. dwelling time of 99.8% also, and arriving time 99.7%. So as you can see here, we have almost 100% punctuations of the time in terms of time. Next. So how MRT Jakarta can support and create a sustainable city? I would like to explain first in the economic point of view. So not only the operation of transportation, MRT transportation, but also the since the construction of the MRT Jakarta, so we have a stimulus. We are playing the role as a stimulus to the economic. By having a 1 million, let's say 1 million US dollars for capital investment and also revenues, we actually generate several revenues, such as from the outputs of construction and also the transportation itself, about 1 million US dollar. But then we have also an intermediate input of, let's say, for the materials, cement, iron, steels, electronics, furnitures, electricities, and also some primary inputs like wages and salaries increase, operating margins, and also indirect taxes. And then by this we have the production output of all those materials and also the consumptions of like household spending, corporate spendings, and governments also. So then it becomes another additional outputs of from this construction and transportation itself of about 0.05 million US dollar. And the output overall, the output is about 1.05 million. And also, 1.65 million in total, of the production sector, the increase of the production sector. So basically, by having the construction and also operating the MRT as a public transportation, as a mass rapid mode, we have generate an added value and also generating a household income also and employment opportunities. Next slide. Yeah, so in terms of a number, for example, we have also increased the gross revenue, the pendapatan nilai tambah for bruto of about 406.3 trillion rupiah. So this is about 0.31% of the provincial DKI Jakarta PDB, and also about 0.12% of national PDB. And also for the income for the households is about 162.3%, 162.3 trillion rupiah increase, and also open employment about 232,000 per year. So by having the MRT Jakarta during the construction and also the operation time, we have we are about to giving a stimulus to the economic of not only Jakarta but also in the national region. Next. Okay, so also we have the economical impact by having building the transit-oriented development. So the MRT Jakarta TOD scheme, we have coordination between the government, MRT, and the developer. So the government will collaborate with the developers and also MRT Jakarta. So there will be like circulations of increasing the economic growth because of the TOD area. So this is kind of a TOD illustrations. For example, in Duku Atas area. So before the planning of the cities, the planning of the areas is quite silos. And now when MRT comes to the area, there is a line of the MRT. Then we will also build the urban zoning, and we develop the urban zoning mapping, and also then it will more or less it will increase the development in the nearby of the MRT Jakarta. So maybe next slide, we can explain to you what is the potential of MRT Jakarta based on the TOD itself. Yeah, so we have the potential multiplier effect. So about 242.2 trillion rupiah, the growth of property values in MRT Jakarta area along the line. And then we have the potential of 639,000 employment, about 34,000 units of potential development on the affordable housing in TOD area, and also 149.1 kilometer pedestrian path that's going to be built, about 73.9 hectares of public open space that we have identified, and about 56,800 square meters of the active riverside. So when we operate and construct and operate the MRT Jakarta, it is not only solely on the transit or the transport mode itself, but also on the areas nearby we're going to develop. So the potential contribution to MRT development, first of all, is the biggest contributor for the MRT non-fare box revenue, and also the source of funding for future MRT development, and then improve the pedestrian access and comfort around stations, and provide adequate integration with other public transport modes. So one of the highlights that we are making by having the MRT station, underground MRT stations, is that by providing the connections to the surrounding areas, so investment and development of the interconnection around stations will become an advantage for the surrounding areas and trigger regional revitalization as well as economic growth. I think this is the main source, the main issues that we are going to discuss also today. How MRT Jakarta can give a better accessibility to the surrounding areas. So, as part of the sustainable public transport, other than providing the transport mode itself, we are also building a new culture, actually. And it has done in the previous since the 2019. We have always made public socializations of how to use the trains, how to get down the trains, and so on. And it kind of changed the habits, the cultures of the people of Jakarta. We provide also better opportunities, like having the public space, building public spaces, green spaces, pedestrians, and also bicycle infrastructures. So some habits that are changed is that, first is that trying to shift people to use the public transport modes. And they are using not only MRT, but they can also use their own bicycles to come and starting to go to the work, or starting from their homes to their destinations. So MRT Jakarta facilities can provide bicycle racks, and we also provide the bike areas in the trains. Or even that they can use the folding bicycles very easily. They can use it, and they can still use the trains. Next is the connections to the building itself. We are providing an easy accessibility from transit to the properties, to the developers. And then we are introducing a healthy habit by having a walking people to walk having MRT. People are used to walk from their from the origin destinations to their next destinations. And then, of course, people are using the transits. They can interconnect in everywhere, and also increasing the property values and expanding other transport modes also. So by having this, we are also following the sustainability development goals, which is for the infrastructure points and also the property development resilience points. Next. So currently also MRT Jakarta has the a policy of a sustainability management by having and applying the ISO 26000s. We have prepared this as a one of the sustainability strategy based on the social responsibility and sustainability roadmap. We also have applied the ISO 14001 2015 on the environmental management system. And also, we have applied the integrated management systems, not only for the quality or occupational safety and health, but also considering the railway safety, environment, and also security. Next. Yeah, so one of it is the energy, one of the sustainability goals that we are now applying is that the energy efficiency in our trains, first of all, we are using the electricity as a main energy source, and then the utilization of LEDs, and then also non-CFC air conditioning, and we provide also a platform screen doors, to reduce, to have energy saving. So the benefit is to have a reduction of carbon footprint generated by motor vehicles that currently used by fuel, and reduction of greenhouse gases emission that triggers the global warming, and then improve the urban air quality to support the sustainability of the city in the future. Some of the MRT Jakarta's compliance to the government regulations is the first. We have also we have done the replanting of trees, about 1,800 for the phase 2A construction project. And also we have applied an efficient quality of 25 sewage treatment plant STPs and 1 industrial wastewater treatment plant for fulfilling the standard by the government. This one is in the depot area. And we have also applied the ambient air quality for operational and construction activities that are complying also with the standards of the government, from the government. Next. Here is also our initiative to create a better environment. We have conducted some collaborations with some startups company, which motivates, encouraging in the environmental sector. We have collaborated with Jejakin and Reco system for the digital recycling system. And we have also collaborating with bike, for the bike sharing. Next. Okay, the other one for sustainability development, we also engage for the social management. We have collaborate also with Pos Sahabat Perempuan dan Anak, PSPA. And we have collaborate with the UMKM, pemberdayaan UMKM. So most of the retails in our stations also being collaborated with UMKM, And internally, we also encouraging we have the Equitalk or the gender equity, and of course. In terms of the facility itself, we have provide the accessibility improvement in the stations and even in the areas. Last, we also have and collaborate and support the mitigation of COVID-19 impacts with the provincial government of DKI Jakarta, including the initiatives of having a mass COVID-19 vaccines and so on. So, okay, that is what I would like to highlight on the MRT Jakarta's initiative and how MRT Jakarta can support for the sustainability of the cities. Next one is I would like to explain about how the engineering approach to build a resilient infrastructure. Yeah. One of the challenges I would explain here is that how we can come back, after the pandemic situation, after we get a very drop of the riderships, and the operational challenges. But in quite some times, we are now getting ridership is now getting increased. So first of all, we respond what we do. What we did when in the 2020 is that we give a response to the COVID-19 itself, and then starting from the mid 2020 until the end of 2020, and also beginning of 2021, we rebuilt the trust of the passengers to come back and use the MRT. And currently, we also getting the riderships increase in nowadays. So we provide some socializations and also managing how how people can use the trains and without having a doubt, because of now is the COVID-19 health situations. So one of it is that we also we instruct the passengers not to talk to each other to minimize the COVID-19 spread, to minimize airborne spread. And also we provide stickers for them to sit and also to stand in some part of the areas of the trains. So we try to make a social distancing in the trains also. That is one of the initiatives that we have made. Yeah. Next. Okay. The other one is how the project challenges, especially when we construct the MRT Jakarta, when we build the MRT Jakarta. The one and the most problem is the land acquisition, of course. So how to mitigate these land acquisitions? First of all, we under the national project, strategic national project, we are using the law number 2 of land acquisitions. And also based on that law number 2, we conduct a public consultation. So by having a public consultation, we have not only one-way discussion, but also two-ways discussion, so that we can understand more on the impact to the PAPs on the site, and we can provide a better solutions, a win-win solutions between us and also the people affected by the project. Next approach is having a B2B approach. So to provide land acquisitions, especially in this kind of urban areas, it's quite difficult. But one of it, the strategy is to build a B2B approach, business to business, so that we can have also the win-win solutions. They are also benefited by having MRT stations in front. But of course, this B2B approach needs to have better laws and regulations, to be provided by the government, so that we can have a smooth B2B approach between MRT Jakarta and the landowners. Second challenges is underground utilities. What we have done in phase 1 and also in current phase 2 is that we are having intensive coordinating with the utility owners to get the as-built drawings from them, to identify it on site. And also, currently in phase 2, we conduct the ground penetration radar and some borehole tests, to investigate any underground utilities. So this is also the challenges in Jakarta, whereby the government itself doesn't have the utility mappings from all of the utility owners. But this is something that we can actually collaborate and build in the future, so that for every development in the cities in Jakarta area, we can identify all the ground utilities by having this mapping, uniform or universal mapping. Next is the permits and certifications, because MRT Jakarta at the time is the first MRT system. So there have been several bottlenecking, because we don't have the current regulations, we do not have the system, the platforms that we are going to, how we conduct the kind of certifications of the MRT system. So one of it is that we have to do a de-bottlenecking with the authorities, and also to establish standards and regulations, and also this one together with the authorities. Next is the safety standards. For this, MRT Jakarta is also unique. We have applied the demerit points to the contractors, and also we have yearly awards. So that every contractors can be scored out whether they will have the demerit points or not. So this is something that is also encouraging them to work on a safety environment. And also we have the zero fatality KPIs. This one is also to not only contractors and consultants that are looking on the safety side, but also MRTJ as the owner of the project will also look and monitor on the safety side and safety issues. We have managed monthly safety site visit from the management point of view. Next. Another challenges in phase 2, this is more to the engineering and technical challenges, whereby in the phase 2 area, going to the north, MRT will face a soft soil conditions. So this, we have to conduct a soil improvements, strengthening and monitoring measures are required. And also land subsidence and flood threat, improvements in the design, better monitoring and standard operation procedures, and also innovative solutions that we have to look for this for this kind of solutions. And also going to the north, we are facing the construction in the very narrow area, narrow corridor, whereby in the left or in the right there will be a buildings, and in the middle there will be a canals. And also we are facing an old buildings or heritage buildings in the close proximity. So this is also, we are facing a design improvements by having some traffic deckings, and also have to have a very comprehensive traffic diversion plan, so that we can close the lane, we can close the roads at some times, and we can construct more appropriately. Next. Yeah, the other thing is, this is also unique for phase 2 area, because we are coming to the heritage side, and we are facing a lot of heritage buildings. Since the basic engineering design of the phase 2, we are conducting some archaeological study and also conducting archaeological test pit. And in fact, now when the construction has been carried out on site with the contractors, we have found several findings, or we call it ODCB, objects of suspected of cultural heritage. So based on law number 11/2010, we have to do some procedures to maintain and also to make the findings safe. Another thing is we provide an OSV, on-site visualizations. This is a kind of monitoring when we do a construction on site, when we excavate deep excavations, we install this kind of OSV monitoring device, so that when there is some, let's say there's an inclining, we can have the alert and alarm level, not only by numbers but also by lights, so that they can, so these lights can also alarm the worker on site when it turns yellow or when it turns red, then that means the workers on site needs to get up from the excavations area to be safe. That is because there is an alarm level of the inclining slopes or some problem in the excavations. So this is what we are going to apply in phase 2 area. Now, coming to the design itself, for the infrastructure, how is MRT is being built as a resilient infrastructure? I would like to highlight the points, the main points only, whereby especially on the flood area, a flood protection system. As you may have heard, Jakarta is a flooded city, but we have provide a flood protection system, some levels of protection in the MRT. First is to provide an additional steps, entry steps, with a minimum height referring to the 200 years floor return period. And also we are installing the floodgate. We have installed the floodgate as a second measures. And the third one, we install the sump pit inside the stations itself. If everything goes wrong, then the water will come to the stations, and this water will be collected in a sump pit. Next one is the earthquake design, where MRT Jakarta has a 2 level of earthquakes. So we design by having an ODE, operational design earthquake, and also MDE, maximum design earthquake. What does it mean by operational design earthquake? ODE, it means that when MRT Jakarta is, or Jakarta is having more or less a middle scale of the earthquake, this ODE requirements or scenarios will be implemented. So what we meant is that the structure needs to be safe, needs to be protected, and without any significant problems on the structural. But we also design a maximum design earthquake for the 2,500 years return period for stations and above ground structures. By having this maximum design earthquake, we intend that the structure have some falls in the structural, some problems, but it should be repaired as soon as possible. So we are looking for the immediate occupancies level of the structure. By this, we have a minimum thickness of tunnel lining of 300 millimeters. The other one is by having MRT Jakarta, we have this resilient structure to be part of the sustainability development goals. Another thing is we have the cultural and heritage educational space that we are intended to have also in MRT Jakarta. So for example, we have Monas stations. So MRT Jakarta will collaborate with the authority and stakeholders such as Museum Nasional, Galeri Nasional, to provide a curatorial of Monas Station artwork and gallery. So this one is, we intended to have a cultural education purpose, especially in the Monas area. And also in the Kota Station, we will also provide a showcase gallery for the heritage or artifacts findings in the Kota Tua area specifically, or perhaps in other phase 2 line also, and we collected them and put it in the Kota stations. This one also a collaboration with the authorities, with Dinas Kebudayaan and the team of Cagar Budaya. Okay, the other thing is that we have an advanced railway technology, whereby for the rolling stock itself, we are using LED lamps for lightings. And also, we are using electricity in the forms of overhead catenary of power source. Yeah, we are not using gas or fuels or diesel. And we also provide a regenerative braking concept in the trains. Yeah, where the remaining energy that comes to the trains can be stored out. Yeah. And then we're using the VVVF inverter for propulsion to improve also the energy efficiency. And for materials, we're using stainless steel material for the car body. Also, in terms of the railway technology, we are applying a communication-based technology of the train signaling. So it will be it will have a more reliable and more safety environment for the signaling system of the trains. Next is the integrated infrastructure. So when we do a designing, how we make the approach of the designing is that first is to make a compacted design of stations with better circulations. So most of all that we have to underline is that how is the passengers can be convenient when they go to the underground stations or when they go to the MRT stations, how they can be convenient, and how is the level of service congested area in the stations that we are providing. So first concept is that we are in the design, we are considering the fast moving of the passengers. Yeah, and also we are considering the personal space for the passengers to when passengers waiting or when passengers circulating in the stations. Next is the direct connection with the adjacent buildings. So as I mentioned before, this is one of the benefits of having the mass rapid metro system. Underground stations whereby we can have a direct connections to the properties nearby. And this is one of the key issues when we are going, one of the key issues of the transit systems, and we are going underground. Now, another thing is we need to, when we do the design approach, we also need to think about the accessibility. So we are underlining that we have the universal design for these disabled persons, pregnant women, and also elderly. This is the most important features that we are that we are doing when we do the design of the stations and tunnels. The other thing is that we have applied now a digital transformation in the construction and also the operation of MRT Jakarta. What I introduced here is especially on the construction side, whereby we have implemented a building information modeling with a maturity of level 2. This is also some lesson learned from the phase 1 project. The main important thing is that we do everything by digitalizing, and also this will give a benefit for us of an easy coordination with with several contractors. Yeah, we have 8 contractors actually. So we easy coordinations with the contractors, consultants, and also providing a clash detection, so we can identify any clash at the beginning of the project, rather than to look on the manual papers and then we just identify the clash later stage. Yeah. So we have applied this building information modeling as part of our construction works. Next. Okay, so what is it in the future for MRT Jakarta? So one of the initiatives that we are also looking right now is a program called Birukan Atap, Birukan Langit, a program that aims to revolutionize the MRT Jakarta energy system through the integration of renewable energy infrastructure. So currently we are, even though we are using electricity, but our source is from PLN, and now we are looking for another source that perhaps a new or a renewable energy types of source. So we want to the aim of the program is to enable 100% clean electricity for the MRT operation. So the three innovative of renewable energy schemes that are being implemented is the implementation of the solar rooftop schemes and to apply a renewable energy certificates. And later is the renewable energy power itself that is willing. Next.
Ibu Eni?
Also, so this is my last slide. So,
Okay. Thank
so
you.
the future network expansion for MRT Jakarta. So you can see here from DKI Jakarta itself has the initiatives of the railway networks in the year 2039 for a total of around 215 kilometers in total, including from the central government of about 391 kilometers. And some of them is the MRT Jakarta rail network of about in total later about 80 kilometers. So in conclusion, MRT Jakarta has the vision of increasing mobility and improving life quality. So I hope that you have seen from my presentations of what the visions of MRT Jakarta is. So as a public transportation will play an important, MRT Jakarta is playing an important role to establish a sustainability city for Jakarta with its design and engineering approach. First of all, of course, as a safe and reliable, environmental friendly transport of modes and building a new cultures for the people and also the stimuli for economic growth, national and even regionally, even for ASEAN. Challenges can be solved by using a breakthrough solutions in a intensive collaborative between MRT Jakarta and also DKI and central government. So that means, as what Ibu Reni also has mentioned in her keynote speech, that a policy and strategy is a very important things on how we can develop a sustainability in the cities. Okay, thank you, Dr. Anindya. I think that is all from me, my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ibu Eni. Wow, that was really wonderful to hear. I was stunned by the sheer of complexity of the work that you've been doing. And also, that's wonderful that the MRT Jakarta has thought almost everything. You already thought about sustainability and inclusivity, such as disability and also women and children. So that's really great. And I think, thank you for this session. We do have questions for you, Ibu Eni, but I think we're going to hold until the session ended after the next speaker present his presentation. Thank you, Ibu Eni, for your wonderful talk. Okay. So for the second speaker, we have Dr. Ventaka Chalam Anbumozi. He's the Director of Research Strategy and Innovation Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia or area. He holds a PhD from University of Tokyo, Japan, and he has membership of professional organizations such as G20 Task Force on Green Financing, APEC Expert Panel on Circular Economy, ASEAN Expert Committee on Smart Cities and Climate Resilience, and his research interest is in energy policies, energy infrastructure design, and smart cities. And now I think he works in capacity building specialist. Oh no, I mean he used to work in capacity buildings as a capacity building specialist and senior fellow at Asian Development Bank Institute, and assistant professor at the University of Tokyo, and project director and senior policy researcher at the Institute for Global Environmental Strategies in Tokyo. So I would like to welcome Dr. Ventaka Chalam Anbumozi as our second speaker. Thank you, Doctor. We are very honored to have you here. And the floor is yours. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, Professor Anindya Nastri. And it is my great pleasure to be here today morning and interacting with more than 120 young minds. Can you see my slides?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. And today morning, and I would like to bring a kind of deepen your thinking on the challenges that is ASEAN as a region is facing. What are the common resilience challenges? What could be the role of and the responsibility of the cities in solving the challenges, the regional challenges? And third one is how the engineers, you can provide the solutions. Basically, how that engineering could be in the driver seat in providing the solutions that can be applicable to the cities and also the national levels. If you think about the ASEAN, this is ASEAN 10 countries. We do have a multiple and these interlinked challenges. When we think about the resilience, and this resilience is a kind of developing a system response for a common challenges or the common shocks that is we can see as we see in the COVID. And also we have seen the water cycle that has been implicated or they are influenced by these climate risk or the disaster risk. And another challenge that is as a region we have is our economic structure is changing. The production structure basically is changing over the last 30 years. And we produce more industrial waste and also the solid waste that is coming from the mostly from the cities. And we have that estimation that is by 2050 the climate change will expected to have an most effect on the economics and as well as the livelihood of the people. I think most percent, nearly 60% of the people are living in the cities. And this region is also biodiversity and the second richest, but it is also losing it very rapidly. That is related to, we need to find a solutions from the ocean engineering perspectives, how we can preserve this perspective, and also the deforestation. That is, we are losing our natural resources. So where this is the demand is mostly coming from the city areas. So these are the multiple challenges. And some challenges are interlinked, and some need very specified solutions. If you look into that is ASEAN 2040, and if we grow at the same rate and we behave as we are doing now, it will be the picture. And now we are 600 billion people, and we will be having more than nearly 800 million people. And that energy demand will be increasing, but we'll be becoming more prosperous. And I think that prosperity also have an example, this energy consumption will be increasing if we are looking at this more prosperity. So another thing is the whole focus of today's discussion is resilient infrastructure. What that means is we need to build a structure, we need to build an infrastructure that has to withstand the current shocks and as well as the future shocks. And for example, look at this. Most of the countries are in the top 10, and it is a global level change that has been taking place. And out of 150 countries, the Southeast Asia, that is the ASEAN countries, 7 countries, you can find it in the climate risk. That means you will be absorbing more risk, and if no action is taken, or we are not prepared for it. Second thing is the material footprint per capita has been increasing. If you see the figures between 2000 and 2017, and if you find a kind of quite maybe it is doubled more than twice, and during this also failed to provide in some countries. We also failed to provide the necessary infrastructure to provide this safe water, quality water, and also this stable environment.
Seems like Dr. Ventakajam.
So then, if you look challenges, but if you and